He is now out. He's going to a Western Conference home, a hopeful contender. He's going to join Steph Curry.
Then all of a sudden you get Jimmy Butler, and now he has that hope again. He has that belief again.
This is a first step that you can see getting Jimmy Butler.
We have to sit here and
Aspirations for a championship. They want Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, to be a big part of it.
He torched the Heat's front office at breakfast and suited up beside Steph Curry by dinner. The whole saga lasted less than a workday, yet threatens to bend the NBA's next half-decade. At 8 a.m., Jimmy Butler stormed out of Miami's practice facility, ripped off his shooting sleeve, and barked, "Trade me or watch me cook somewhere else." By 10, he sat atop every trending chart under hashtag #FreeJimmy. At noon, a charter jet warmed its turbines in Fort Lauderdale. The manifest listed one passenger for duffel bags and a final destination, San Francisco. When the hatch reopened in California that evening, Butler walked straight into Chase Center, shook Steph's hand, and grinned like a man who just hit restart on his entire career. Trouble in South Beach hadn't erupted overnight. It simmered behind Heat culture slogans for months. Butler wanted two things: a max extension that would carry him through age 38 and louder input on roster moves. Ownership countered with speeches about financial flexibility, but no extra years. The fracture widened when Tyler Herro's richer-than-expected deal splashed across Instagram before Jimmy saw a draft on paper. Insiders say he walked into film the next morning blasting Chief Keef and refusing to speak to anyone wearing a staff badge. Matters hit a breaking point on January 18th when Butler skipped shoot-around, called management stubborn penny pinchers, and drew a 7-game team suspension. The Heat won only 2 of those 7, and local talk radio hosts began whispering the unsayable. Maybe it's time to cash out on our star. But if Miami was ready to turn the page, Golden State still had to decide whether it could foot the bill.
That is by far the toughest Warriors team.
I would say that too.
That team is up there for the best team that I've played. That's got to be 1A, 1B with the Miami Heat teams.
Across the country, the Warriors were battling a different enemy, time itself. By early February, they sat 4 games under .500, clinging to 11th in the West. Curry's nightly wizardry masked cracks everywhere else. Clay's jumper flickered like a faulty bulb. Draymond served yet another suspension, and Steve Kerr shuffled lineups in search of a heartbeat. Behind closed doors, the front office weighed uncomfortable options. Shop Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga for immediate help, or ride out the storm and risk wasting the final stretch of Steph's prime. Butler's $101 million price tag looked terrifying against an already swollen tax bill. On February 2nd, negotiations sputtered, reportedly dying when Jimmy refused the straight extension. No extra incentives framework Bob Myers pitched. Then February 5th dawned, and chaos broke loose. Phones across the league buzzed with the same cryptic text: "Golden State's not done." By noon, an unmistakable WJ bomb detonated. Miami, Golden State, and cap-rich Detroit had stitched together a labyrinthine deal. Wiggins, Kuminga, and 2 first-rounders to the Pistons, who swallowed the money and shipped veteran shooter Alec Burks back west. Miami pocketed a protected pick and instant cap relief. Golden State landed Jimmy Butler, full stop. Reports later revealed a midnight Zoom call where Curry himself joined to promise Butler all the late-game touches he wanted. The deal submitted to the league office at 11:57 a.m., 3 minutes before the buzzer. In one stroke, the Warriors shed youth, guzzled salary, and gave Curry the fiercest co-star he'd had since Kevin Durant. The ink was barely dry when the hot takes lit up the airwaves. Reactions split like a felled tree. Stephen A. Smith thundered, "You're handing 2 live grenades, Draymond and Jimmy, to the same locker room." Zach Lowe nearly levitated, calling Butler the precise brand of chaos this team has lacked since Andre Iguodala's peak. Cap gurus gagged on the numbers. If Butler exercised his 2026 option, the Warriors' luxury tax payment could soar north of $450 million, higher than the payroll of some NHL franchises. Twitter, never one for nuance, morphed into Meme City. Half the timeline pasted Dre and Jimmy into the famous Spider-Man pointing image, the other half photoshopped championship rings onto Butler's fingers. Then came the first leaked practice anecdote. Butler allegedly demanded the rookies run a defensive kill drill until nobody could feel their legs, ended it by swatting Kuminga's layup into the stands, and declared, "That's the standard now." The clip racked 1 million views in an hour and shifted skepticism into genuine curiosity. Hype or headache? The experiment hit hardwood fast, and the numbers were staggering.
Last team that played with that kind of chemistry was the Golden State Warriors. They had sort of a team chemistry where they moved the ball, but it was about a lot of jump shooting, a lot of three-point shooters, but they had the greatest shooters in the history of the game.
Game 1 came against Denver on national TV. Early in the first quarter, Curry handed off to Butler, curled around Draymond's screen, and watched Nikola Jokic freeze, caught between shading Steph's gravity and bracing for Jimmy's bulldozer drive. Butler lofted a lob to Kevin Looney, so clean it felt rehearsed, and Chase Center gulped a collective O. From that night on, synergy replaced skepticism. Across the next 20 games, the Warriors ripped a 155 surge, climbing to 6th in defensive rating and 1st in clutch time net rating. Butler averaged 24 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, and nearly 2 steals, his nastiest pilfer rate since Philadelphia. Kerr empowered him to slip screens, post mismatches early, and press trap-happy defenses with short-roll playmaking. Meanwhile, Curry's usage dipped a smidge, but his fourth-quarter efficiency spiked. Fresher legs bred deeper threes. Chase Center crowds soaked up the new energy. In one viral moment against Dallas, Butler tumbled over the scorer's table to save a loose ball, popped up unfazed, and whipped a no-look dime to Clay in the corner. Splash. The arena rocked like mid-2010's Oracle, and even Kerr admitted afterward, "We all fed off Jimmy's mania." But the real test arrived in the play-in, with the Dynasty 1 loss from disaster. April 15th, Chase Center. Loser goes home. Winner snags the 7th seed. Memphis swaggered in younger, longer, desperate to rewrite a season scarred by last year's implosion. Butler set the tone immediately. First possession, pump fake Desmond Bane sky high. Eurostep Jaren Jackson Jr. Finish off glass plus whistle. Primal scream to the rafters. 2 trips later, jab step 3 from the left wing. The same shot he once bragged he could hit. Whenever ID*MN well please. By halftime, he poured in 24 points, lived at the stripe, and planted doubt in every Grizzlies defender's eyes. Yet Memphis fought, trimming a 17-point cushion to 4 entering the fourth. That's when nuclear Steph arrived. Floaters off glass from impossible angles, a relocation 3 born from a Butler brush screen. Then the dagger. Curry faked right, stepped left behind Draymond's handoff, and buried a 30-footer that detonated whatever oxygen remained in the building. Final line. Butler 3876 with 18 free throws. Curry 37 with 15 in the last frame. Final score. Warriors 118, Grizzlies 110. Draymond's post-game quote said it best. "Having playoff Jimmy on our side feels like cheating." Yet even after the euphoria, huge questions hover on the horizon. Butler's $52 million player option for 2026 now hangs like a neon countdown clock. Leak chatter says he'll chase a fresh 3-year max extension. Numbers that could shove Golden State's tax liability toward $500 million and activate second apron shackles that limit trades, draft picks, and even the mid-level exception. Owner Joe Lacob insists he'll pay whatever it costs to chase banners, but accountants are already scheduling emergency coffee runs. Complicating matters further, Brandon Podziemski is carving out on-ball reps. Moses Moody looks ready for starter minutes, and Klay Thompson's deal expires in July. How many wings, egos, and salaries can fit through one narrow roster slot? Rival executives whisper about a summer stare down. One scout joked, "Either Jimmy signs early, or we're prepping for Butler Watch 2025 the minute free agency opens." So here we stand. In 90 breathless days, Jimmy Butler sprinted from suspended malcontent to Bay Area folk hero. He yanked Golden State out of a late-era funk, reignited Curry's hunt for ring number 5, and handed basketball obsessives a plot twist fit for a binge-worthy docu-series. Yet beneath the confetti lie cap landmines, aging legs, and alpha personalities still learning to orbit the same star. Did the Warriors just engineer Steph's last great masterpiece? Or did they max the credit card for one unforgettable, possibly fleeting joyride? The answer could surface as soon as this postseason. And if recent history teaches us anything, whatever happens next will echo far beyond the Bay. Buckle up. The dynasty's newest chapter has only begun, and the ending might shock us all over again.